What's poppin', everybody? It's a Sable Finding 4 on the Whimsy G Players channel. I promised you guys I would show you my Perona deck. I got a bunch of requests to show this. I've changed it a lot over the matches that I've used it. It's not really that groundbreaking of a deck. You get to combine black and green cards, a fairly strong combination. I mean, all of the color combinations are good nowadays. We have enough cards, enough variety of cards to do a lot of things. But Perona, the leader, is just awesome. I wish Crocodile had her effects, to be honest. So 5k standard leader, and once once per turn, you can rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So this is pretty good because it opens up for combos with a lot of good cards like Ryuma here, and just suspending stuff is strong. You can suspend your opponent's Pokemon, attack them before they get to do stuff, and sort of control the game, kind of. It's what green does, kind of like the tap mechanics the Light Civilization uses in Duel Masters. So I really dig that. The other effect, I wasn't really a big fan of it, the second effect, but it's kind of grown on me because it's very useful. You can make a lot of combos with this too. If you don't want to rest an opponent's character, then you can decrease an opponent's character -1. And this can be anything. And this is really nice as well. It's going to open up for you to kill things with Brook. You can kill a cost 5 this way if you do the combo with Perona. And just do other combos. I mean, with you couldn't even kill my Boredom. I think the English name is different. But this card, other cards, just set up for kills. Once again, if something is suspended and you decrease the cost, Ryuma can come in and kill him, just like Brook. So it can be a handy effect. Now, I guess that's the leader, and that's about it. In the beginning, I had a big Thriller Bark aspect for this deck, but a lot of the Thriller Bark cards, there's not really much point in using them with her. So I just put more consistent cards and made it more of a vanilla-esque deck, you could say. But anyway, the boss characters, we got Don Flamingo and Moria. I ran a playset of Moria, and then I dropped it to 3, and then eventually I dropped it to 2. This card is obviously great, but I find myself a lot of the times I don't have the necessary cards in the discard pile or in the trash to get the max value. If I just summon him, I get to revive only 1 card. And that's still good, but you'd rather get the max value. And if he's in hand, he's sort of dead. You can't do much with him. And a lot of times, even if I can summon him quickly enough, I'd rather play some other cards. So doing 2 is good enough, I want to say. I want to have more consistent cards. The 2 Flamingo, though, I've had 2 from the beginning, and I'm not going to change them. This is always a great drop when you drop him. All of your Daunts. But you're going to drop him to just stun a bunch of your opponent's cards, including their leader. And it's just broken. You time this right, you should be winning the game. It's an amazing card. It's possibly the best green sort of boss character for 10 cost, I want to say. I was very favorable to this guy as soon as I saw him in Kingdoms of Intrigue, just a broken card. And it lived up to my estimation, I suppose. Then we got the other big characters. I guess I'm going all over the place. Let's just go in order. I mean, I got Double Killer, just a green blocker. You get the Dawn on a block effect too, and maybe if you have a bunch of characters, you can draw a card with this, but it's pretty much just a 2 blocker. Same for Cerberus, just a 2 blocker, kind of nice. I like these sort of early cards to control the board, get something down that can block a big attack, and I just dig these cards. So you got these dudes. I got Bartolomeo too. This guy you can summon as well, and it's going to be a blocker, but it's basically because of that. It's that utility of being a 2k counter and being a blocker too. So it's really good, max him out. And that's it for the blockers, I think. Other cheap cards are Inupe, like the Penguin Sanji here. So this is good, once again, early. You can just play this, draw 2, discard 2, and we can get rid of stuff that we don't need. Like if I draw things like this event or just other stuff that's meant to be counters like VV, then this is stuff that I'm happy to discard. We don't have too many of these non-counter cards now, but maybe before, if you drew a bunch of Morias, you could discard them this way too. Yeah, so it's pretty good. And then when he dies, you get to use the effect as well, so it's handy. Just a nice little early drop. Once again, run him. I got some standard beatdown characters. I got the Monkey D. Luffy, just black. This can be anything really. Just a black 3/5 beater, that's it. And then for 4, Perona, this can be anything as well. That's 4/6, green or black. But in the beginning, when my deck had more focus on Thriller Bark, it is important to have her because she does count as a Thriller Bark card. So you keep that in mind. They put her in that damn Zoro Sanji structure deck, and I gotta get it just for this card. But it's still a pain in the ass to get. Got Ryuma, touched on this card a little bit. It's very good. It really is just something that Perona can utilize for the Thriller Bark cards, but Moria can't because he's green. You summon this, you get to pop something that's suspended, cost 4 or less. And then when they kill him, you get to repeat this effect. You can just pop something. So it's really good. I mean, the game is definitely getting some power creep. You got all of these cards now that get effects on play and on KO. Same for a lot of the yellow cards from OP6 like Chikunojo. You know, they got those multiple effects. So definitely strong. Max out this guy. Then I do double of Brook as well. A very similar card. The cost is a lot higher and the attack is the same. But this guy sends instead of just KOing, which is like the destroy in One Piece if you compare it to Yu-Gi-Oh! But when you send, it's kind of like the Dark End Dragon effect from Yu-Gi-Oh! Once again, and some other cards, I guess. Now, you get to ignore things that would otherwise prevent them from being killed by effects. Like a lot of the Black Navy cards, Borsalino, a lot of the CP9 cards, they got effects where they can't be KO'd or destroyed, I guess. But this is just gonna send them no matter what, so you get to kill them. It's really good. The other effect where you put cards from their trash at the bottom of their deck, I don't see the point of doing that, to be honest. But maybe it will have some kind of combo. I guess it's meant to just counter Moria, perhaps. I'm not sure. But it's mainly for the send effect. Really nice. Essentially with this and Perona, you can kill like a cost 5. Just 2 though, because it's not the greatest trade-off, but he is handy a lot of the times. Okay. And I've got, what else? I've got the double Rebecca too. This is pretty good. Broken card. I'm glad it didn't get hit. Because it is pretty strong, but I mean, it's a +1. She's a cost 0 for 4, so that's kind of fair. Blocker. And then you get to revive something when you summon her. Specific cost, it's got to be black, and it's got to be from 3 to 7. You get to add something to the hand, actually, and then summon something. Cost 3 or less. So she's good. Nice little blocker once again. 2 copies, not bad. And Vivi, the other princess bitch. So this is straight up because it's a trigger card. I want to have a bunch of triggers. You know, black... You know, yellow has the best triggers, but all of the colors now, they've got good-ass triggers. And this is just your typical 3 blocker for the color black. Blocker trigger card. It's the best card from the Luffy starter deck, basically. Starter deck 8. So I max her out. I dig these sort of cards. Everything else fails. You can just discard her as a +1000 counter. Get rid of her with Inupe. But when they hit it in the counters, it's pretty good. So have this as opposed to some other cards that have less utility. And what else? I mean, I got the regular Perona too. Maybe I should have talked about it earlier. Great card, 4/5, good stats for the cost. And you get 2000 counter. You get a good on-play effect where you can just discard an opponent's card from hand. They get to choose, but it's still pretty good when you can get that plus. They got 5 or more cards. She hits the field, they lose a card from hand. That's nice. The other effect is give up to one of your opponent's characters, cost 3. It can combo with your other stuff, but I don't really get to use this often Maybe I should, because I almost forgot the effect, to be honest. You can do some rad combos with this Brook and Ryuma. But, you know, a lot of the times I do want to have her in hand because she's 2k. But she's a good drop too, obviously. Just a great card. Max her out. And we got a few more events, and I think that's it. I covered everything. There's TCG too. Just another 2000 counter, that's it, 2 copies. You can do Shindri if you want. But because my deck doesn't have a big focus on like the Thriller Bark Stadium and just Thriller Bark in general, I put her in because maybe she's a better summon compared to Shindri. So 2000, 3 and 4. You can rest this character and decrease cost too. So it's just more handy if you do summon her. And this is the artwork from when she confronts Missile Sunday in the Alabaster Arc. Cool shit. So just 2 copies of this. And then the last cards, a few more events. I got the one, oh shit, that was a mistake. So confuse this with Pokemon TCG Live. Anyway, let's find you now that I messed up. But it's the Arc basically. Noah's Ark. There you are. This card is basically Holy Awe from Duel Masters. It's not as good as how Holy Awe used to be for Duel Masters, because in Duel Masters, when you draw and have these cards in hand and you don't want to use them, you can just play them as mana. In One Piece, we can't really do that. This card doesn't have any sort of counter effect. You just get the trigger where you get to play this and rest everybody. So it is going to be pretty much like a Holy Awe, and the on-play effect is basically Holy Awe. So very, very good. Cost is the same too. It should have been a much better card, but like I've said, because you can't play it as mana, if you have it in hand, then it can be kind of useless when you don't want to use it when your opponent is attacking. Their cards are going to be suspended anyway. So I just have 1 copy. You can drop it if you want, but I still want to keep it in because it is that Holy Awe. I mean, if they hit it in your life at the right time, it could be a game changer, just like good old Holy Awe. But yeah, that's about it. 1 copy. Something else, like if we have in hand, I usually just discard with Inupe. Okay. And then the last card, one of my favorites, Negative Hollow. Once again, this is exactly the same as Ghost Touch from Duel Masters. Same cost, same trigger. Trash a card in your opponent's hand at random. So, good little trigger, cheap little cost. You can play this in the beginning, deplete your opponent's hand. If you get lucky, you could hit something crucial. So that's sweet. Once again, it's not going to be as good as Ghost Touch because when you don't need it, you can't do anything. You can't play it as mana. So it's just going to be stuck in hand. But most of the time, I just always use this to get rid of my opponent's cards in hand. It's just good and cheap. And this is the Perona deck, guys. This is my list. I know that a lot of the maybe top tournament meta decks, they're going to be much different. They have a focus on the Navy cards with her. But I like it the way it is here. I won a lot of games with it, so it's working. What the hell is this guy doing here? Whatever. It wasn't in here. I don't know. Maybe I just clicked something. But that's the Perona deck. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. I'll post matches with other decks now. I can't be posting the same deck over and over. I think I've shown enough matches with this deck for you guys to get an idea. And yes, this has been Saberwolf94. Subscribe to the channel, Whimsy Players. Leave a like, share that video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time. What